Welcome to ABL Hot Corner, the show that brings you all the good stuff from around the Australian Baseball League. I'm Brooke Boris Kilpatrick, with me is Jamie Janga Cloden, and tonight we've got lots of game wraps and we've got a special interview for all you Brisbane Bandit fans later on. Janga, kick things off, the Melbourne versus Canberra series. How did you see that one?
Well, it loomed as make or break for the Aces. They faced the barnstorming cavalry, the way they're going. And if they struggled again this week, it might have been curtains on the season.
We spoke last week, they had to get something done.
Yeah. So, game one, Canberra again, 10-4, came out with a win. It's just another night at the office for the Cavs as they put up double-digit runs again. But this time it wasn't the usual suspects doing all the damage. In saying that, one of them, Jason Lebejan, he kept up his good form with a couple of knocks, including a long ball. But the other big names like Pounds, Moanaroa, Murphy, they were all kept pretty quiet. Right. So Jeremy Barnes, he stayed hot. He got a couple hits.
Perpetually good hitter in the ABL.
Just keeps getting it done all the time. Yeah. But this time it was down in the 8 and 9 hole of the lineup. It was Derek Lovelace and Robbie Perkins. They scored 5 of the 10 runs between them.
Perkins has been alright this year too, hasn't he?
He has. Well, again, if he was in another lineup, he'd probably be hitting higher up.
Yeah, true.
And we talked about Aaron Sayers last week, hitting well down the 9 hole.
Hitting a 9 spot and still getting on base all the time.
Yeah, they're just getting production wherever they put guys.
Yep.
The one bright spot for Melbourne in the game, though, was their leadoff man, Masato Fuke.
Masato
Fuke.
Okay.
I'll go with that. He picked up 4 hits and was just a home run short of a cycle. So
nice. Really
good game for him. Game 2, the Aces did get up 11-8. So it was their turn to swing the sticks this time. They all 11 runs that they scored came within the first 5 innings. That was enough to get the job done and hold off a late challenge from the Cavs. But Fouquet, I've got to be careful when I say that.
Fouquet was the man again?
He was. He continued his hot streak. He got another 3 hits. He racking up 7 in the first 2 games of the series. And the Aces 18 in total. So they really got the bats going. In saying that, Canberra, they still piled on the runs. They got 13 hits, 8 runs, but it was the arms that just struggled.
Yeah.
So, Wade Corpy, he struggled in his start.
He hasn't been awesome, has he?
No.
Wade, has struggled a tad.
And he gave up all of his runs in 4 innings of work, and then Aaron Thompson came on in relief, and he didn't fare much better.
Right.
So they've got to sort those arms out at the back end of the rotation. But
Aces finally getting some of those runners in, like they've struggled to get the runners in previous games.
Yeah, I mean you keep getting hits. I mean 18 hits in total. You'd hope they score a few across the game. But, game 3, Canberra. They got up again 7-2, and this time Stephen Kent was back on the hill. So
Fetty Kent back.
Yes, getting it done.
He's been on fire.
Yeah, and he didn't have an out of this world stat line like he did last week with his 13 Ks in 7 innings. But he still threw 8 2/3 and only giving up a couple of runs.
Just short of the complete game.
You'd take that any day. Yeah. Well, he handed the pill over to Michael Click, who came in and got the last out of the game. Whereas on the other side of the coin, your boy Yasuo Sano
was not insane-o this week.
No. He wasn't his usual self. He wasn't terrible.
Yep.
But he certainly wasn't up to his recent standards. So the field didn't help him out a whole heap. There was some couple unearned runs thrown in there.
Right.
But just wasn't sharp enough to keep the Cavs bats in check. And offensively, it was Brian Pounds and David Harris. They got 3 and 2 hits respectively for the Cavs. That they got the job done.
You know you're in a game when you're pitching against that lineup, don't you? Sano's been so good so far. But come up against the Canberra lineup, unless you're at the top of your game, they still get to you.
And then when Kent goes in and he knows he's got those guys scoring runs for him every game, that helps him just go out there and get the job done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Game 4, last game of the series, went the way of the Aces right from the very first hitter of the game. An error, and then 4 consecutive singles, highlighted a 4-run first innings, and Tanner Vavra led off with a double, and then Brad Harmon came in with a long ball, and then suddenly after a couple of innings they got a 6-run buffer. Harmon
was interesting because he only played 2 of the 4 games of the series, but he was lights out both of them.
He crushed it. If he was there, he was crushing. But then, Canberra fought back with Moanaroa going deep again. Just more RBIs for the boss.
Season, the
boss.
Yeah,
he's had a slow start. But geez, he's coming on now.
Yeah.
It's so they were just playing catch up though. Just couldn't get it done in this last game. The Aces continued to hit. They piled on 17 hits on their way to 11 runs across the plate. William Wu got the win in relief.
My boy Willie Wu.
Willie Wu in relief of Matt Wilson. And Takayuki Yamaguchi and Virgil Vasquez came out of the pen.
Oh, Virgil.
Mm.
Yeah, he's bobbed up at Melbourne
Yes.
after being around the league. Came to Adelaide last year at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Obviously been with Perth before that.
So it's
He's
just-
very well loved in Perth.
Yes,
And now Melbourne are getting the benefit of having a bit of Virgil on their team.
So it's his third stop around the league
Yeah,
now. So he's done
yeah.
half the teams now. But I guess just wrapping up the series, the Aces, the bats are certainly starting to wake up a bit
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
And like you say, just hitting at the right times, getting the guys on and knocking them in finally. So the only problem is the staff still go up a lot of hits and runs. So they just can't put the whole
The
package together
starters,
just yet.
yeah, I mean, they were really relying on Sano early, Larkins being very good. Still weren't terrible, but it's the rest of the starters have struggled a bit, haven't they?
That's right, and taking that into account, they'd be pretty happy to get a split with the Cavs on the road. And we just spoke about him, but Virgil Vasquez, he's back in. It looks like he's working himself into the closer's role at the moment. So not being inside Joe Favre's head.
Hard to say.
Yeah, not sure whether
Yeah.
they're working him back into a starting role or if this is going to be a permanent thing. And we're seeing a few quite dominant closing performances around the league so far. So if he is going to stay in that role, we might see another guy racking up the saves on a regular basis.
Possibly get him stretched out because their problem's going to be getting the save opportunities for him. isn't it?
True. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, or whether he plays a bit of a role like Matty Williams with the bite, where he just chops and changes between starter and
Yeah.
relieving. So we'll see how that one plays
Okay.
out. But what about you? How do you see the Cavs at the end of that series?
30 runs, 41 hits
Mhm.
in the series. They still just continue to pound the pill.
That's insane.
It's
isn't it?
unbelievable. 2-2 split for them. They probably weren't wrapped with it,
Mhm.
but it still keeps them top of the table.
It does.
They don't have too much to worry about now that Kent's throwing so well.
Yep.
Granting Kent number 1 and 2,
Mhm.
it's fantastic for them at the top of the rotation. Probably still looking to fill that out a little bit as the season goes on.
Yep.
But when you're scoring as many runs as they are, I mean, it's just ridiculous.
You don't need to be dominant every time you step on the hill, do you?
That's right. They're putting up like cricket scores. It's
Yes.
like boom, or NFL. A couple of touchdowns here and there.
Yep.
It's
it is, it's
unbelievable.
crazy.
So the Cavs top of the heap. They improved their starting pitching a little bit more. They're going to be very tough to beat.
Yeah. So Cavs sitting pretty in Melbourne. They're getting there.
Still work to do.
Still work to do, but they're on the right way.
Good stuff.
Now, Boris, you were here at Cooper Stadium on the weekend watching the Bite take on the Bandits.
I was. Beautiful Cooper Stadium and Brisbane Bandits in town after being quite the juggernaut offensively so far this season.
Yeah.
Ended up being a 2-2 series split. Brizzy took the first game 8-3 quite comfortably. A solid start from Rick Teasley, who's been kind of rolling his third win of the season, and he's been pitching very well of late. 3.2 innings of scoreless relief from the boys, Eric Green, Matty Timms, and of course Ryan Searle.
The usual suspects.
The usual suspects, 4 strikeouts and 2 digs from Ryan. And Mitch Nielsen, who's been going the power route this year, hit his third home run of the season, while Nick Shufu
Yep.
and Goofy Sutherland and once again Ryan Battlestar Battaglia all went deep, so they had 3 hits apiece.
A lot of hitting.
A lot of offence. Nick Talbot took the loss for Adelaide, struggled a little bit in this start, and it was Brizzy quite comfortably in game 1.
Yep.
Game 2 on Friday night, complete opposite. Adelaide shut the Bandits out 2-zip, and the offence was provided by that man again, Kyle Petty.
Off to a phenomenal start, isn't he?
Unbelievable, hit his 6th home run of the season. Bite starter was the lefty Elroy Urbina.
Another cracking name.
Yeah, like a bit of Elroy. No relation to Uget Urbina back from the Expos back in the day, the Montreal Expos. I think.
Not too many Urbinas around, you wouldn't think.
Not too many, but he pitched 5 really effectively wild innings, I'd have to say. Like he was all over the shop a little bit, but kept the hitters off balance. Conceded just the 1 hit. Did walk a few and struck out a couple.
And that can be effective sometimes. Guys are sitting on, if you're around the area too much and you're not mixing it in and out or something like that, they can jump on you. So sometimes effectively wild is the perfect term for it.
Can't sort of guess what's coming, and
That's right.
it certainly did the job.
Yeah.
Devon Barker had the big socks working, the high socks were working again. In relief, he did a great job setting up Cody Kursky, who struck out 2 Bandits and earned his 4th save of the season. Benny Lodge took an awesome grab over the fence back here, didn't go through it, which is a nice bit of a change.
It's just a novelty here at North.
Just threw the glove over, brought it back, checked the highlights. It was quite a nice grab.
It was a good grab. Yep.
Game 3 continued Adelaide's extra innings jinx.
They're struggling with
They
those
still
games,
haven't got
aren't
one.
they?
Got one. They're yet to win an extra innings game all season, and the Bandits scored in the 9th to take the game to extra innings, and once again in the 10th to take a 2-1 series lead. The Brizzy threatened all game, looked the better offensive team in this one. I think Adelaide turned 3 double plays every time there was a threat. Adelaide got the double play.
Just got out of it,
extinguished a few threats, but Brizzy got him in the end. Jason Jarvis took the start for Brisbane and was outstanding. 7 innings, struck out 8 bite hitters and conceded just a couple of hits, so he was awesome.
Yeah, he was.
And who was the guy again at the back end of the bullpen?
I'm guessing Ryan Searle.
You're guessing correctly, Ryan Searle. Scoreless 9th and 10th digs, went back to back and did a fantastic job. Justin Williams had 2 of the Bandits, 7 hits for the night, and he's been pretty consistent.
There's a guy that can hit. He's just been getting on base at a phenomenal rate, as have the Bandits as a whole, and that's why they're just challenging, and it's the double plays that they needed to get them out, to get the defensive team out of the innings, because they just keep peppering those base paths and getting guys on.
So those certainly game 2 and 3 sensational games. Then came out Sunday and it was like slugfest.
Yeah,
the pill was flying all over the shop. I think the Bite jumped out to 7-2 lead after 2 innings. And then Brizzy fought back. Had the Bite fans a little bit nervous when it was 9-5 after 6 innings, and then that became 9-8. So things got pretty tight at the end with an inning to play, but it was the guy at the end for Adelaide, Cody Kursky.
Just bailing them out again.
Yeah, bailed them out, threw a scoreless 9th, and the Bite got over the line 9-8. So for a 2-2 series split.
Yeah, and you know what, Adelaide probably would be happy with that, the way Brisbane have been rolling lately.
I think when you win the last one, you're always sort of the happy end of the split when you come back from 2-1.
Yeah, I think so. It's it was a phenomenal game, the amount of hits and home runs. You just don't see that many long balls too often.
Brisbane absolutely smashed it. I think Steph Welch and Kyle Petty hit his 7th home run for the season, which leads the league comfortably by 3. They had 4 RBI each, leading the Bite to victory. But for Brisbane, they went deep 4 times. Soupy Campbell had a couple. Nielsen and Goofy Sutherland also home, and so it was the ball that was flying out. Yep, he's been unbelievable. So yeah, pretty important win for the Bite to salvage the split.
Very much so.
Keeps them within 4 games of the Cavalry up the top, which is very important for them. They don't want to fall too far back at this stage of the season.
Yeah.
And Brizzy stay in 2nd spot, just a 1 game adrift of the Cavs. So Adelaide wouldn't be too unhappy about the split, but probably not too keen on losing the extra innings game again.
No, it's just becoming a bit too much of a habit, and they're really the games you want to win.
Yeah.
Your coach always says you want to win the close ones.
Normally like this, you sort of end up getting a few over the line. Just hasn't happened. Just haven't been able to find a way. So if they can get that part of their game right, the end game of those extra innings games, they'll be in much better shape.
But I guess the wash up of the weekend is Kyle Petty is just raking still.
He's been incredible,
leading the league with his 7 homers. So he's been the one constant for them that's always there, always hitting, ensuring they are getting some runs along the way all the time. Matty Williams, as good as he's been this year, he has been off to a really good start. He had a bit of a rough series.
He did have a rough series.
Working exclusively out of the pen. Gave up 8 hits and 4 earned runs in just his 3 innings. So look, maybe just a speed bump along the way for him. He's a better pitcher than that.
You wonder, his starts have been so good, whether there'll be thoughts in the back of the mind of Stephen Mintz that maybe might end up starting again. We'll have to wait and see.
And having the short series against Sydney the week before, and Dallas Gallant coming in as well, it's throwing things out a little bit. So next week we might see a bit more of a normal setup from Mintz with his rotation.
Yeah, agreed.
But I mean, speaking of Mintz, he's still got to work out the kinks with his bullpen. It's still a work in progress. Kersey's doing great things at the end as the closer.
He's been really good.
You still got Josh
Barker's
Tolles.
Been good.
Yeah, Barker. Josh Tolles is still getting in there and getting some good innings in. Just maybe it stayed in a little bit too long with his appearance on the weekend. But there's some very good signs in there for him. But like you said, there's kinks. They've just got to iron them out.
Quite iron them out.
I guess that's probably the big highlight though, on an international scale now, that the Ellen's got involved. You're right there, mate?
Yeah.
You'll be on Ellen in no time.
Unbelievable.
Ethan, what a performance with the national anthem.
Incredible. It's just gone berserk. I can't believe the 2 biggest highlights that had the most hits all year haven't been hitting, haven't been taking catches, haven't been pitching. It's been a coach throwing a base and a kid with the hiccups.
Whatever works, whatever gets baseball on the news in Australia.
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Exactly right. So that was a good little highlight to get the ABL in front of everybody.
Certainly was,
Australia.
and Eric Balnar's now famous. He's been in and Ian Revel, all the boys front and centre, quite famous. They've been hundreds of thousands of hits on this. So
it was great. It was a definite highlight, getting coverage everywhere, and back to baseball, I suppose.
See where it ends up. Yep, of course.
Let's talk about Brisbane. Where do you see them after the series?
Okay, so still in touch with Canberra, obviously. Only one game behind, so they'd be pretty happy. Heading through the lineup, bucket load of homers on the weekend, so offense is rolling. And Dave Nielsen still has the fire.
He had some serious fire with that little outburst.
Dave got tossed on the weekend. Didn't go the base throw, but was not too happy with proceedings. A bit of a call at first base that he wasn't happy about.
And he looked like a pretty big unit standing next to umpire Blake Halligan there.
It was good to see the big fella fire up a little bit. And
Blake,
he looked a little bit intimidated by the big man, as he would be.
Solid size difference between the two.
He is a big unit. With Brizzy, the bullpen, as we spoke about before, it's becoming a real force. Back of the pen. Ryan Searle, obviously, has been unbelievable. And Timsy doing a good job. Green, they've all looked very good, so it's been a force. Speaking of Ryan Searle, we've got an interview coming up with Ryan and his stablemate Justin Erasmus, so stick around for that. That's up next. And here comes the chopper. Get to the chopper.
Take it from me, one punch can be lethal. Thrown in anger like this, without warning, without any gloves, it can be deadly. One punch can end his life and ruin yours. It takes grunt to throw it, it takes guts to walk away.
I'm here with Ryan Searle from the Brisbane Bandits and Justin Erasmus. Boys have come over to play the Adelaide Bite in a 4-game series, and so far they've taken the first game last night. Ryan.
Hey, thanks for having us, really appreciate it.
Great to be here, boys. Now, just a quick one, Ryan.
Yeah, mate.
Drafted by the Cubs back in 2007.
I see you wearing a Cubs jersey.
Love the Cubs. Long time ago. You've come a long way since then.
Yeah.
I think you've thrown nearly 500 digs in the minors since then, 8 years. Now that you're with the Bandits, moved to the back end of the bullpen after being a starter for most of your career. How do you feel about that move?
I'm really enjoying it so far, mate. It's a good move, and it seems like it's helping the team. And I mean, that's the main point. You know, you just want to help the team win as much as you can. And we've got really good starters at the moment. They're going out there, they're doing their job. Teasley's fantastic out of the first spot.
Awesome.
Jarvis has been great. Baker's a great new addition. He's just come back, and Warren's coming back from his injury. You know, he's doing a fantastic job as well. So I don't mind. You know, the move to the bullpen. I think it's actually helping our team at the moment. So
excellent. And there's been some guys that have gone from starting to relieving, obviously as a way back into getting a contract. Obviously you're with the Cubs for a long time. Now you've done some pitching in Japan, which would have been a really unique experience for you. How did you find that?
No, I love Japan. It was absolutely fantastic. It was a really good experience. I got to, travel, see the world, experience a new culture. You know, they're very regimented, honourable people. It taught me a lot of respect, and respect your teammates, respect the game. And it was a great experience on and off the field, like playing wise. I learnt a lot. I learned a lot about my pitching and also about myself as a person too. So.
And how to field a bunt, I'm guessing, because they don't mind a bunt over there, do they?
No, they don't mind a bunt at all, and they certainly love the old infield hits.
They do like the infield chinkers.
They do.
Now, Justin, you've been with the Bandits quite a while.
Yep. Since I started.
Do you reckon this is probably the best Bandits team that you've been in?
It's definitely the best clubhouse. We've had a lot of talent in the past, and a lot of guys got on to bigger and better things, which is great. But this year, there's just something great about the team. We've got a lot of young talent. The Rays guys that are coming are sensational. They're great on the field, and they're even better off the field. It's a big family this year, and it's a great feel. It's a really good feel.
It's always good to be feeling good off the field, and obviously that's translating on the field. 100%. You guys have been off to a red-hot start. Things are looking pretty good, right up near the top of the table. You had a great series last week with the Cavs, who were kind of been the cream of the crop, but they really smashed the pill pretty hard, don't they? Yeah,
they got a bunch of great hitters, and they're very patient. But we had good chances last week to beat them. Tip your hat to their pitching staff; they did a pretty good job. But all in all, our hitters are very good too. But yeah, it's as a pitching staff, so far they're the team to beat.
Yeah, I think you guys, what I've seen from you blokes so far is you've got the good starters, you've got obviously the back of the bullpen, Searle, you're doing a sensational job, Timsy's doing a good job, you've got all the boys in there, but you're hitting through the lineup as well. I mean, your hitters have been pretty impressive, getting guys on base, knocking them in, and I think that's what you need. You need top to bottom, offense, defense, things are looking pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think and Erasmus moving back to the bullpen really helped us a lot too. He's always been such a solid reliever for us, and having him back in the bullpen really helps. And it's great for the atmosphere as well too.
Yeah, I mean, Justin, obviously, yeah, same. You've been a starter like, in your time at the Bandits, done a bit of everything, bit of a fix-it guy now.
Yeah.
Get in there, shut it down at the beginning when stuff happens, come in, shut things down.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's pretty good feel around the place. So
Yeah, it's great.
That's good.
It's all about knowing your job in the team, and once you know your job within the team and you focus on doing your job, everyone does their jobs individually, which means we all pull from the same side of the rope, and one thing leads to another, a couple base hits, a couple scoreless innings, and there you go, there's another win. So,
got to ask the question with you guys, particularly Ryan, the way you're pitching, you got your eye on the World Baseball Classic coming up next year?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, being a part of Team Australia is something special. It's something you always strive for. You know, Justin and I have played together at Team Australia before, and at the last WBC, you know, we didn't quite go to plan, obviously, and you know, we went home with 3 losses, and this time we have to re-qualify, and you know, hopefully we get, you know, most of our players to be able to represent us at the tournament. You know, hopefully we'll have guys like Naylor and Travis Blackley, and you know, you never know, we might even get guys like Liam Hendricks just had an amazing season. You know, if we can get Beresford and Moilo, you know, if we can get those guys, and maybe even Balfour, we'll have a legitimate shot, you know, obviously assuming that we go through the qualifier, yeah, and then go forward into the next Classic would be huge for us, absolutely, because I mean, we need to play and we need to do well, and having all those guys back will certainly help us a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about yourself, Justin? We'll put your hand up, toss a few more down there, big fella.
I would never ever say no to playing the green and gold. You know, never. I've represented Australia before. It was incredible. It's extremely competitive this time around. Like all the young kids coming through, it's unbelievable the talent that Australia's producing in the last couple of years, and the older guys are still coming around. They're still sticking around, and it's tough, you know. But I'm never going to say no. And if I get the opportunity, I'm going to go out there and do my best. And you never know. Sensational.
Now, Rhino, speaking of playing for Australia, obviously last year we had the Major League Series kick off in Sydney. And you had a bit of a hurl against the Dodger boys, and you did a pretty good job. I think you might have whiffed about 5 of the blokes and a couple of digs from memory.
Yeah, no, that was an experience I'll never forget. Like Justin said, you know, when you put on that green and gold, there's nothing like it. Yeah, the honour and the pride that comes with that, you know, you would never say no to it. And that was in the middle of spring training for me last year. When I was with the Cubs, and there was no way I could say no. To play in front of your family, your home fans, like in the SCG, and in the SCG, man. I mean, it's
amazing, didn't it?
Yeah, once in a lifetime opportunity, you know, something like that, and it just doesn't come around. So, no, it was a fantastic game. The guys played great defense. We were in it the whole way. We swung the bats, just unfortunately a bit of a bad result, but they came out firing the next day, and we put it to the Diamondbacks. So, you know, we've got the talent in Australia. We've got the players. You know, we've just got to put it all together, and you know, hopefully we have a good tournament in front of the Sydney crowd.
Excellent. Okay, both you boys going from sort of starting to relieving. Is there a different mindset for you as far as the pitches you're throwing and your approach to hitters when you're coming from sort of starting to relieving?
For me, not so much. I mean, my approach has been the same. I've been relieved my whole life, and I had the chance to start this year when I was overseas and came back to the Brisbane Bandits. They want me to start, and it's the same thing. I'm just going to attack the zone. It's just you got a little more room as a starter to go deeper in the game and try and figure out hitters and all that stuff. But I think as a reliever, mentally for me anyway, I'm going to go out there and attack the hitter with my best stuff. And if I'm going to lose a game on my best stuff, then you just tip your hat. So I mean, that's my mentality, and that's the way I've pitched my whole life. So I think there's a lot of guys with different mentalities, but I think the best one is just pitching to your strengths and staying aggressive in the zone.
What about you, Rhino? Anything different for you as going into the close guy?
Slightly different, yeah. Actually, Justin was right on many points. You do work to your own strengths. You know, you go out there and you just try to pound the zone. Yep. For me, the difference being between a starter and reliever is because when you're a starter, you're trying to pace yourself. You know, my goal is every time I go out there, every time any starting pitcher wants to go out there, they want to complete the game. Yep. It's their game. Yep. You know, you want to pace yourself. If you go out there, you know, throwing max effort from the first, second inning, you'll be done by the 4th or 5th. Yeah. You know, so for me, coming into the late inning role, I leave it all out there every pitch. You know, you don't take it easy. You don't back off. You never underestimate anybody. You always respect your opponent. You know, and we saw it in Canberra. You know, Josh Fritsch came in that big situation, hit that 3-run home run. You know, yep. You never underestimate anybody. You always give everybody the respect, but you also, you know, you respect yourself on the mound as well, and you don't think anybody can beat you. So you go at them with your best stuff. You know, as a starter, I had 5 different pitches. I've taken away 1 or 2 of those now. So
Yeah,
just
so
kind
I
of
was gonna say, just
yeah. I've just kind of refined it a little bit more and gone, basically fastball slider, occasional change up kind of thing. So.
which is obviously working. I think so far you've thrown maybe 14.1 digs, 19 strikeouts, haven't given up a run. Not a bad start.
I've given up 1 run, mate. I did lose a game in Perth. Unfortunately, I made a couple of bad pitches, and
Possibly unearned run though.
it was unearned. Yeah, knock wood. Knock wood. Streak continues, but who knows? I mean, it is going to end at some stage,
Of course.
But the thing is, as long as I can go out there and do the job for the team, that's all that matters. Individual accolades come second. You just got to go out there. If we got a 3-run lead and I give up 2 runs, job's done. We still won the game. So
Absolutely. Team game.
Yep.
And do you feel like you're throwing as well as you have for a while right now? Where do you feel like you're at as far as, obviously you've been at the top of your game when you're in the Cubs organisation, you got to AAA. Where do you feel like you're at compared to sort of that when you're pitching AAA?
Oh well, I was in a longer role then.
Sure.
When I was in AA, AAA. I was in long relief in AAA a couple of games, just a cup of tea basically. But when I was in AA, I was more like a long relief. I got a bunch of starts, so it was longer. This is the first time that I've really done like a short relief role. So it is, like I said, different. You go out there and you pound the zone and you're just really aggressive and you just let it go kind of thing. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. My arm's feeling good and so I'm able to do quite well at the moment, so just got to roll it for as long as I can,
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And what's the feeling like in Brisbane? You blokes got a boat there now, which is pretty impressive. I've seen you boys on the City Cat, living at large.
Unbelievable. Mark Reedy's doing a fantastic job for us.
I think the marketing for you guys has certainly been awesome. Like everything we see coming out of Brisbane is really positive. The fans getting on board. I guess the feeling is pretty good. The way you guys are playing, it must be a real good hype around the ballpark when you're playing at home.
Yeah, 100%. Our front office is doing an incredible job. They have done for a couple of years, and every year gets bigger and better. And the crowds are getting better, and it's just a great feel. You walk into that ballpark every day, and you know something good's going to happen. Might not get the result we wanted, but there's something good's going to happen. The boys come in such a great mood. Everyone's ready to go. We just want to win. The fans come. They're loud. They don't leave. Like, you don't normally see fans leave during our games, which is great because, just because of the atmosphere. And I think the front office is incredible. I think they were the best in the league last year, and that's something they want to. That's what they want to keep. We want to stand there. We got a standard in Brisbane, and everyone wants to be at that standard. And they've done it at the top and in the off field, and we're going to try and do it on the field this year.
It's been really impressive. So finally, playing sort of in a suburban area here, you're playing at a footy ground. Did you bring the footy out, have a couple of kicks?
We have been having a kick.
Yeah, nice. Got to have a couple of kicks.
Absolutely.
But what do you think of the Nord Oval surface here? It actually doesn't look too bad this year.
No, the grass is actually very nice. The surface isn't too bad. It's very quick. Obviously, it's a quick infield. The guys are making adjustments. The mound is actually surprisingly very good. I do like the mound. It was nice to pitch off last night. It's a very unique experience playing here. Yep. The Australian Baseball League is unique in itself. So this is exactly what you would expect, like, for the Australian Baseball League. It's just a unique experience. The fans,
improvisation.
Yeah, improvisation. The fans are always great here in Adelaide. I kind of miss the old the guys who were sitting on the sidelines. What were they called?
Just slagging.
Yeah, sitting in the Shark Tank.
Slagging you.
Oh, that was kind of fun, mate. Yeah, I miss those days. But no, the field's looking good. It is really, and it is fun to play here because the simple fact is, it is unique and it is different, and the fans are great and everyone's loud and it's a good experience.
It gets pretty pumped up.
Yeah.
They sometimes get a bit ugly in the Shark Tank when they have all you can drink. All you can drink. They
what you want.
can get a bit ugly. That's it. It's about having fun, isn't it? Like, you come to the ballpark, you want to see some great baseball, which you guys are providing right now, and you want to get stuck in and have a good time. So
tell you what, these flies can go away.
they're shocking, mate. They've been here all year. Every week we're dealing with the same. It's either flies or pigeons. There's freaking pigeons making noises and stuff. Now, look, boys, I want to thank you so much for coming on ABL Hot Corner. I want to wish you both all the best for not only the rest of this series, but for the rest of the season. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks,
so
boys.
much. Thanks for having us.
All the best.
Thank you.
Take care.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
So, Janga, you had the pleasure of seeing the Sydney Blue Sox up against the Perth Heat.
Yeah, third series of the weekend.
How did that one go?
Well, just to keep the theme of the weekend, it was split.
Another split.
All three series split 2-2. This time with Sydney got game one. They took the Chocolates 7-4. Alex Baylor got the start and kept up his good recent form, getting the better of Daniel Schmidt in the game one matchup. it was all about early runs for this one, with an early home run to Reece Hoskins being the highlight.
He's been the guy,
Mm-hmm.
him and Josh Dean, but certainly Hoskins has been hitting the pill pretty well all year.
Definitely the highest point for the Sox so far. But Michael Benjamin and Kirill Prime got amongst it later in the game for the heat, but it was all a bit too late, and the Sox managed to hang on for a very important victory in the course of their season.
Kirill Optimus Prime. Oh, mate.
Apologies. The Sydney bullpen let the Heat get back into it late, but Calvin Drummond came in again, another one of these closers. Really
Calvin's
getting it
been
done.
good. He's the guy at the back. Has been pretty good, hasn't he?
Yeah, so he came in, shut the door, and preserved the win for the Blue Sox. Game 2 was Perth's turn. They came in and won a pitcher's duel 2-1.
Of course, because Wayne Lundgren was pitching for Sydney, so
it was always going to be low scoring, but no result.
So he couldn't get a win because even though he pitches really well, he just can't seem to buy one, can he?
Unbelievable. It was a much anticipated duel between Lundgren and Edwin Carl, who's been on fire.
Really
We've talked about him plenty lately, and it lived up to expectations. Both starters allowing just a 1 run each and going 6 innings, so they both came out after 6. It was funny looking at the two pitchers, the different methods that they used to be effective for the in the outing. Edwin Carl struck out 8 in his 6. Lundgren's strikeout column had a big goose egg in it.
Just empty.
Just didn't strike out one, but just worked in contact. I think it was 11 ground balls he got, and 7 fly balls, and I can't remember how he got the other out. But,
just effective in a different way.
Just getting it done. Yeah. So, but then the game went into extra innings, and after an Optimus Prime walk, Luke Hughes hit a double to give him second and third, and the winning run came across on an error by shortstop Michael Brennan. Threw it away, and we had a 2-1 win to Perth. Yeah, so they were taking it in turns. Game 3, it was Sydney's turn again. Another close one, 5-4. And again, it was the early runs for the Blue Sox, and they put 3 up in the first. Craig Anderson started for the Blue Sox. He was solid as always. Before handing it over to the bullpen, where once again we got to the end and Calvin Drummond was there to nail it shut again.
The Calvinator.
Shut
the door.
Well, he's getting it done, so he deserves a nickname.
He does. I think the Calvinator. I think we've just nailed it. There it is.
Quite obvious, but we'll
why
use
not?
it. Yeah. The hits were scattered throughout the lineup for Sydney. Everyone sort of had 1 or 2 floating around the place. Whereas for Perth, the best.
Who was the guy?
He was a standout. Tad Gold. He gets his weekly mention. He was good. He got 3 hits and scored 2 of their 4 runs, so he did have a good game, and he's starting to break out a little bit of an early season funk too.
It's a real slow burn, but he's getting there, isn't he?
Yeah. So he's not the only one in the lineup doing that.
That's true.
And of course, Perth turning game 4 to take that one 10-5. Nick Veal pitched a really solid game for the Heat. He gave up just 3 runs over 7 innings.
That's 2 good starts in a row for Nick.
Yeah, and you had the Kennelly brothers, Matt and Sam, as well as Luke Hughes having multi-hit games.
Yep.
And the big hit of the game was that man again, Tad
Gold.
He stroked a 2-run single with the bases loaded in the 5th, and that was the one that broke the game open.
Right, excellent.
So I guess in the wash-up of this one, Sydney, where they're at, there's no real standout performers for the weekend. Like I say, with the lineup, it was a lot of 1 and 2-fers right down.
It's been that way, apart from Hoskins, Dean earlier. They haven't really just busted out some big sticks, have they?
But even those guys aren't having their 3 or 4 hit game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like some of these other top guys are. So, very, very even performance there. But the stat that stood out for the Blue Sox was 15 errors over their 4 games.
15 errors.
6 in 1.
That's like nearly 4 per game, if my maths is correct.
You're doing all right, aren't you?
Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, that's not going to get it done, is it?
And that makes it tough for the pitchers too.
Yeah, for sure.
When you've got that.
Extends the innings all the time. Yeah,
it does.
Frustrating.
It does. So, but on the plus side for them, they got Alex Baylog and Wayne Lundgren with ERAs of 1.09 and 2.17 respectively.
Yeah, excellent.
They're dominating lineups, and when you have got Craig Anderson and Stockland rounding out the rotation, they're keeping their side in games.
Yeah, in games, but
they are. Yeah, but it's a definite worry though when the bats aren't having those big breakout games and the gloves are just struggling.
The combination of those 2 things is going to kill you every time.
Exactly right. Yeah. So, and I guess that's why they're sitting with a 17-11 record.
Yeah. They're
just not having those big games. But Perth, where do you see them sitting after that one?
Perth still going okay. Carl Schmidt and now Veal are doing a good job at the top of the rotation, keeping their team in games, striking dudes out, doing a good job. The lineup is still not quite there as far as getting the hits and keeping the runs batted in, but things are starting to gel a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, things are starting to pick up. 11-9 at the stage, so they wouldn't be too unhappy. They're still chasing down the top two.
Very much in the
But
mix.
they got them right. You know, they're right there,
Mhm.
and they've played less games at home as well. So there's that to consider later
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
And while Sydney were terrible on D, they made a few errors of their own. I think 8 errors for the Perth Heat. So maybe groundskeeper Willie wasn't doing his job. I'm not sure, but
Might have been a few landmines out
there
there.
might
by
have
the
been a
sounds.
few landmines. But both teams struggled on D. But yeah, Perth overall, I think they'll still be pretty happy with the way things are going.
Yeah, so a very high scoring, or not a very high scoring, reasonably high scoring, probably quite a messy series. You
Bit
call
ugly.
it. Yeah, not the prettiest of baseball, but as we say, another split, and Perth probably not so unhappy. Sydney probably would have liked to jag one more, I think, to get them back in the mix.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay, Boris, time to have a look at the flamethrowers for this week. The best pitches that we saw. Who have you got?
My guy, it's a Brisbane guy, Jason Jarvis,
Mhm.
Brisbane Bandits. He was fantastic here at Nord Oval,
Yep.
Cooper Stadium. Had a sterling start against the bite. He went 7 innings, struck out 8, gave up just 2 hits,
He was
1
good,
earned
wasn't
run,
he? Yeah.
and he was just amazing. The ex-San Francisco Giants prospect.
Mhm, nice.
So you probably knew him back in the day, being a massive Gigantes
Yes,
fan
yeah, happy with
yourself. He's now 1-1 with a 2.57 ERA. And he struck out 25 in 28 innings and conceded just 18 hits.
That's
so
pretty good.
he's been
That is good,
doing
keeping
a
him off
very
base.
nice job at the top of the Bandits rotation.
Mhm.
What about yourself? Who have you got?
I'm going to go with JJ's mate, and obviously your mate after having a chat to him earlier, Ryan Searle. We'll stick with the Bandits theme.
Searle.
He's just been unreal. He's pitched 4 more important innings against the Bite this
Yeah.
weekend, striking out 6 and conceded just a single hit for the whole time. So he still has an ERA of 0.00.
0.0.
Not a bad start to the year. And he's got 3 wins and 4 saves. So it's about time he became a flamethrower for us.
I think so. Not just the fact that he's pitched so well, but it's been very high leverage situations where he's come in. Obviously,
Exactly.
very important. He's just been.
They
It's been lights out.
Well, the fact that he's having all these save opportunities means they're playing a lot of close games.
Yeah.
And he just keeps getting it done.
Important wins.
Yeah. Honourable mentions.
Honourable mentions. I've got to go with Alex Baylog
Mhm.
again. 6 innings, 4 hits and 8 strikeouts. Very impressive against Perth.
We spoke about him before. ERA 1 point bugger all.
Yeah, 1 point, not much.
Mm-hmm.
And yourself?
Steve Kent again. Had
Petey
a
Kent.
second good week in a row. With his 8 2/3, only 4 hits and 6 Ks, picking up the win there.
Edwin Carl.
Thank
He's
you.
always in there,
Mhm.
but he has been very impressive. He did throw 5 walks this week, which is a little bit out of character. But
Yeah.
he struck out 8, so
Yeah,
you
still
can
got a lot of
handle that in
wins.
6 digs.
And then 2 closers that we've already mentioned that are again starting to really nail down that role in Calvin Drummond with the Blue Sox and Cody Kursky with the Bite.
Yeah, Drummond's been really good.